Philadelphia sports fans, I am Anthony Pinto. Welcome to the War Room. Yes, indeed, it is a solo show for us tonight, but nevertheless, it is jam-packed, folks. I mean, jam-packed like the Schuylkill River out there. In all seriousness, hope y'all have endured the weather as well as you can. Feeling bad for anyone that is really dealing with it right now as far as the storm damage goes, widespread throughout our area. So, with that in mind, we're going to try to have some fun and talk some sports and probably get angry about it instead of having fun because it's Philadelphia Sports Talk tonight. With that, got a little bit. It's a 4 for 4 tonight, chat. It's a 4 for 4 tonight. We got Flyers. We got Sixers drama. Flyers did another thing good. Sixers got drama. We got Eagles predictions. It's gonna be. I guess it's not our last show before the season starts. But one of. So it's time for Eagles predictions, and I'll get mine out there while I got the floor tonight, and we'll have everyone else's hopefully next week. Keith once again slammed at work. Kevin, our newest addition to the family, gone out there and getting married this weekend. So I guess I gave him the week off. So yeah, again, it's just me tonight and you guys out there in Chatland. We'll open it up with the things that we don't want to talk about. The Sixers. Once again, Joel Embiid, the Ben Simmons. Let's run it back and start from the beginning. Ben Simmons has apparently, or at least his brass, has talked to the Sixers brass, and, it looks like the Ben Simmons era is coming to an end, folks. I don't know that this helps his trade value. Well, it doesn't help. I know it doesn't help his trade value. I don't know how much it hurts his trade value. But for Ben Simmons to blame this on Philadelphia is, wow. Nah, it's predictable. For Joel Embiid to try to pivot it to the fans and not the organization is laughable. And yet here we are. Still without Dame Lillard. I think Sacramento could offer us a pretty decent team, a pretty decent package. Look, I think that there's trade value out there for Ben Simmons. However, I just... Here's what I'll say. The legacy of Sam Hinkie will revolve around this Ben Simmons trade. His entire legacy as a general manager / basketball executive will hinge on what he gets for Ben Simmons and what it provides in the next season or 3 plus. So since it's a solo one tonight chat, there'll actually be some time to breathe in the show. So bear with me, as silence is always my enemy. However, it is sometimes needed. Am I right? Sorry for the audio. Sorry for the audio. Oh my god, I don't even know where it's coming from. Oh my god. Now it's gonna pop up here. Chat, I don't know why I ever even bother to open up something on CBS Sports while I'm at all, let alone while I'm streaming. Because without a doubt, it's just gonna play ads. So forget it. I'm not even gonna attempt to talk about that story that I was gonna talk about, because bleep you, CBS. God damn, I hate sites like that. Like, let me use the site. I don't even care if you put pictures. Let me use the goddamn site. Like, if I click on a friggin' site to open it, I shouldn't get bombarded with enable ads, enable ad. Or worse, just random videos playing anywhere on the page that they want. Like, man, ads are like a necessary evil, but when you go to the point where I'm like, I need to make a note to not use CBS, like, because their site is such ass cheeks, it becomes a different story. God damn, I hate their site. Thought I was gonna get mad about Ben Simmons tonight, not CBS Sports. What the hell is going on here? Alright, chat. I'm gonna show this off every time tonight. There's only water in it tonight, but this is my new tequila mug. It's my new tequila mug for sure. For certain. I should have tequila in it tonight. I'm rocking a 4-day migraine though. So that's my co-host tonight. My co-host is my 4-day migraine. It's been a great time. What up, Joe? Don't worry, Joe. Have not talked Flyers. I decided, while I could have the floor mine to I don't want to say rant about Ben Simmons, but maybe I was working my way up to that. I ended up getting mad. I was going to start looking up at some trade rumors, but both of the goddamn sites that I picked up, one had enable ads. Screw you, can't use their site unless you turn your ad blocker off. Which, like, number one way for me to not use your site is to make me go through with that. And then number two was CBS. And I tried to, look up them, and wait a second. We got a 11 months. I thought it said a year for a second. Shout out to my roommate Jay Ziggy in the other room. But look, Joe, I'll let you have yours today. I'm not here to defend, like, bums still aren't all-stars, but god damn it, I'm not going to defend Ben Simmons tonight, so let's try to be on the same page a little bit. But you know what, even that, if you want to call him that tonight, say whatever you want about Ben Simmons, because I'm not defending him. Here's what I'll say. I just hope that the Sixers can pull down. Absolutely love that shirt. Nice. Can I still fit in this without getting... I was like, I'm gonna wear it. I'm wearing this tonight in case I can never fit in it anymore, as I'm cultivating mass. But yeah. Here's what I'll say about Ben Simmons. It's twofold. One, I just said it. Daryl Morey's legacy as a basketball executive hinges on this trade. Twofold, and now more importantly, as us as Sixers fans, dare I say, this team and our hopes hangs on this trade. This isn't a trade that you can afford to take a step back. Dare I say, you can take a step lateral on this and still come out okay. But to take a step backwards when you have Joel Embiid, you can't do that. You cannot take a step back when you have Joel Embiid. So whatever Ben Simmons, maybe it's someone that's aging, but it's still got, still in their prime. Like, we need to stop focusing, necessarily on Dame Lillard and start looking at other options. I've seen Cleveland. It's got potential. Joe, I remember you said the dude's name. The name escapes me right now. Again, migraines, a lot of notes in front of me. Let me see if I got it here. The Warriors, I keep seeing them, but like, oh man, Colin Sexton. Yeah, that's right. D'Angelo Russell, like, doesn't do anything for him. With the Warriors, I think that's where you need a 3-team trade. And if that 3-team trade lands you Dame, again, I'm all for it. I think if anything, Ben asking his way out probably means that you're going to lose. And bear with me, because I know this is a bitter pill to swallow. We're probably going to lose Maxey and Thibault. If you get Dame, though, you have Dame Lillard, you have Joel Embiid. It's late into the offseason at this point. You got to go into scramble mode, but you still have Tobias Harris. You still have Danny Green. Those four become a very formidable 1 through 4. Who would be your fifth in that situation? Who am I missing? I know I'm missing someone probably obvious. It would be Dame. It would be Green. Yeah, I guess I'd have to figure out who your 3 would be. Or maybe you would slide Tobias to the 3 and the new 4. Seth, thank you. Ben, Joe. I knew I was missing someone super obvious. Thank you. Seth would be. There you go. That's a good 5 still. Dame, Seth, Green, Tobias, and Joel. I ride with that team. Again, I love Maxey. I love Thibault. But Ben's got to go. Now the little wimp's asking out. So that 5, I can ride with that 5, and I can get down with it. And then there's other options too. Again, I've already talked about multiple times Sacramento Kings. And I'm going to pull up their roster so I can get the whole thing here. Oh my god, I just pulled up another CBS ad. I'm going to blow my head off. Damon Embiid, book Broad Street. Yeah. I mean, again, Joe, to that point, and to all of my Dame to all of my Maxey and Thibault lovers, because I'm one of them, man. I'm one of them. Don't want to come off as a hater on either of them. Here's the thing: if you're trading Ben Simmons, this clock begins to just tick. It goes from a grandfather clock to a stopwatch, if that somehow makes sense. But like it goes. All of a sudden, your window to win is just Joel Embiid. It's no longer Joel Embiid plus the 6 more years that Ben Simmons is going to have of his prime. So if you're trading Ben Simmons, it's got to be for win now moves. And man, that's a win now move. I'm not trading Maxey or Thibault in any other deal other than Dame. I I would have to think long and hard about that. But on the surface, Joe, do not disagree. Do not disagree. I was willing to trade those two if I was keeping Ben Simmons and work, but we're well beyond that point. So it's not even worth wasting the airwaves. It's not even worth wasting time. By the way, chat, again, I said the first time, I'm going to show it off every time, but I don't know if you all were here. Maybe you're tuning in a little bit later, but I am in love with my new mug that I scored from work. There's usually tequila in it. Tonight it's just water. Day 4 of the migraine. Actually, that's going to be a poll for some time on Facebook, Joe. It's going to be who is a bigger disappointment, Ben Simmons or Carson Wentz. And the answer is both for me. But yeah, I don't want to make all night about just Ben Simmons. We're going to certainly, it's a 4-for-4 tonight. The Phillies are a game and a half out. That's something to talk about. Red hot again. It's like next week will be like Phillies suck and they're irrelevant, but again, they're red hot right now and they're relevant. Excuse me. Damn, dinner was so good that just tasted that. Jamie, if you're still watching, that just tasted just as good the way back up. Blue Apron. How about it? Hashtag not sponsored. And now comes the sweep against Joe. Joe, if you remember the shows, Joe, when, man, I think Greg was even on the show, and they're like, oh, favorable schedule, and I'm like, yeah, favorable. How many of those games are you saying favorable or against the Marlins? Like, yeah, they got a bunch of games. I'm like, then it's not favorable, and until they prove me wrong. Until they prove me wrong, it's not favorable when the Phillies are playing the Marlins, because hot damn, the Marlins have their number. But you're right, Joe. This time next week, we'll be like, it's Eagle season. We're not even going to talk about the Phillies. They're a disgrace. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be like, oh my God, it's mid-September and the Phillies are only 2 games out. Just the tip. Just the tip, the Phillies. Getting back to the Sixers. Because once again, we're like, it's 88-86 with 2 minutes and change left to play. Sixers are ahead in the fourth quarter. Game 7. By the way, during that Game 7, every time Ben Simmons was up to the line, every time he was up to the line, every single person in the building was on their feet cheering in support. Did the same thing in Game 5 as well, while they were blowing a 28-point lead. 88-86. I think 2 minutes 13 exactly to play. Ben Simmons turns down a wide open dunk and passes it to a double-teamed Matisse Thybulle. That was the only time in the playoffs that the fans booed Ben Simmons. And I was there, and I booed with them. Me, the Ben lover, Mr. Ben Simmons defender, I can't say anything bad about it, blah, 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 blah. No, I was there, and I was screaming boos. And if that is too much for you, or if Doc Rivers saying maybe you're not the championship point guard, that's too much for you, I don't need any of that. And then somehow, for home, Joel Embiid is, bro, you're right here. Like, chat, you can see, right? Everyone knows Joel Embiid is, my gamer tag is the process. I like Joel Embiid. He's my damn mouse pad. Pops is down the shore. That's nice. Hope no flooding down there. I don't know. I don't know where if and where, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. I hope your mug is filled with a little something better than water. But for Joel Embiid to then go first things first, his first tweet was pretty good. It says, I love playing with Ben. Stats don't lie. He's an amazing player, and we all didn't get the job done. It's on me personally. I hope he's back because we're good enough to win. First off, I love that out of Joel Embiid. He should say that. And he's right. I said it then, and I'll say it now. That loss was not entirely on Ben. That was, you don't lose game 5 and 7 the way you did just with one player sucking. Yes, Ben Simmons was at the top. He was 1 and 2 on the list maybe. But Tobias Harris, game 7, missing 17 wide open free throw, not free throws, excuse me. Wide open layups. Yeah, that's on him. Tobias Harris ghosting in fourth quarters during the games. Yeah, that's on him. Joel Embiid going completely silent in both games, second halves of game 5 and 7. Yeah, that's on him. Sure, torn meniscus counts. But look at Joel Embiid's career in fourth quarters and playoffs. Like he said, stats don't lie. His words, not mine. For once, I'm using that quote not sarcastically. Hashtag The Office. And then minutes later. He says, from my own experience, you'll have no idea how much this media makes up stuff for followers, and shame on you for believing them. Again, I can get behind that. And then here's where it goes on. Here's where the good, the bad, the ugly. Haven't forgotten, but 2 years ago, I got booed. People in Philly wanted me traded. I even shussed them. Only the real ones didn't. But I just put in the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potentials. Philly fans, y'all gotta be better. And then he pulls a clip from the Joe Jokio show. And how that dude has a spot in radio is only because boomers buy the clickbait and call up. Here's an idea. Switch the radio station when Joe Giulio is on, because he's a joke and he sucks and he's garbage. Like, why he's pulling hit? Like, I have more credibility than him. Like, what the hell? And I have no credibility. Side note. Side note. By the way, I never attack anyone personally on air, and I just realized I did that, and I take no regrets. I was at the game he's talking about. Al Horford had 26 minutes played and had 3 points. We were booing Al Horford. We weren't booing Joel Embiid. I never understood how Joel Embiid thought we were booing him. I never thought that. I'm like, to this day, I'm still flabbergasted that he thought that we were booing him, and why no one ever clarified that story. Like, that's where, like, the talking heads of the radio stations just take things and run with them in the complete wrong direction for, like Embiid said, for clicks. So last thing, while we're just here, last thing, Sacramento Kings. I still find them as the dark horse, and dare I say it, like my like wish list for teams at the top. I almost can find potential moves with the Kings that I like, dare I say, not more than Dame Lillard, but you might be able to really complete a team with these guys. You know, maybe you trade Ben and Korkmaz, and all of a sudden that move looks good, signing him. But if you can trade Ben and Korkmaz, and you get back, Buddy Hield for Ben has to be number one. But then if you could get a guy like De'Aaron Fox, I saw Marvin Bagley's name being thrown around in there as a potential. Who I've seen Tyrese Halliburton, another guard. I would much more. I mean, this isn't breaking news. I would much more prefer De'Aaron Fox over Halliburton, but I think you could do. You could either do maybe a Hield and Fox, which is I would do that straight up for Joel. Or no, not for Joel. Not. Don't clip it, Joel. Don't take my words. I would do that for Ben Simmons straight up. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, maybe some picks for trade capital. I think at this point that would be a pretty decent deal because you get someone that you have go through your 1 and 5 again. You would have De'Aaron Fox, Seth Curry, Buddy Hield would be your starting 3. You would push Danny Green to the bench. Danny Green would be sort of, I guess, your new Matisse Thybulle in a way, but Thybulle would still be here. But you could push Green to the bench. You bolster your bench that way because then you have coming off the bench, you would have Green and Thybulle would be your first 2 probably off the bench. Although then you're not getting a lot of pop off the bench. So maybe Seth Curry even becomes your 6th man. Still stunned that we got Danny Green for Horford. Amazing move. I'm more stunned, I think, that Danny Green is back, to be honest. Not mad either. I think Danny Green's good. Again, I know he did the same thing and took a stupid shot at Philly at Sixers fans too. But look, Markelle Fultz, go look at every time he was at the free throw line, every time he touched the ball, people were screaming their heads off. Sixers fans give their support inside the court, and that's all that matters. If you want to take stupid clips from talk show hosts, or dare I even the cesspool of Twitter, then you're looking for trouble. Look at the video and listen to the crowd. That's what matters most. That's absolutely what matters most. Joe, I'm not gonna lie. I was literally just about to switch gears over to the Flyers when you said when are we gonna talk about the best GM in Philly, Chuck Fletcher. I forget when I made the title for tonight. Was it? Did I stick with are the Flyers the best team in Philadelphia right now? Because I was thinking about making that it. They certainly have the best offseason going. Signing up key players just up and down. It is, yeah, I did keep it that good. I think it's worth asking. Are the Flyers the best team in Philadelphia right now? It's not the Eagles. No disrespect. It's not the Eagles. That's the easy one. One could argue, spoiler alert, not this one. One could argue the Flyers and Phillies are, dare I say, in the same boat. I think the Flyers are the Flyers are what only 2020 or that 2019 season, 2019-20, like they're only one full season back from being in the playoffs. The Phillies aren't even that. So the Flyers are certainly at least a tier above the Phillies. Which then you go the Sixers. And yeah, Sixers were the 1 seed last year, currently constructed. But I'm not going to say that the Sixers are the best team in the city right now when it feels like there's last night's storm hanging over our head. And you don't know which direction it's going to go. We wanted defensive changes and they addressed them and more. Yeah, look, they addressed their future. I think all that's left now is Drew. I mean, you got Farabee locked down. You got Coots locked down. You got you have your defenseman. Whether or not the Risto move pans out, we are going to see. Hope like hell it does. I've been the one spinning the positive on the Risto thing, which feels weird. But just in lieu of staying positive and none of my negative co-hosts are around, I just go with this. Look, I don't like the type of player he is, but you're taking what was, granted, one of a historically bad team. You're taking their number 1 pairing defenseman, a top 2 defenseman on that team, and you're putting them on your second line here. That's good value on the surface. Whether it pans out, we'll see. I think next to Sanheim is a good fit. So I'm a little more positive on the move than Keith or Kev. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the Flyers right now have had, within reason, a very good offseason. And there's still chips to be had. You could still see maybe a JVR get flopped. You never know. Not flopped. That sounds bad. Flipped. Doesn't flipped sound better than flopped? Why? It's the same meaning. For some reason, when I said flopped, it just had like a negative connotation to it. But if I say flipped, it sounds like a good thing. My brain. Welcome to my brain, chat. Joel Farabee on a deal for $5 million per is going to be a steal. Joel Farabee is my second favorite Flyer as constructed. I think he's my second favorite forward. No, that's not fair. He's my second favorite young forward. TK is number 1, and G is number 1 too, for different reasons. Because G is G. I'm gonna get an Atkinson sweater. I'll go Scherzy. I think, as soon as I see a highlight goal. Like, I want to see him do something. I'm like, bang, buying it. Because that's the kind of person I am. Sometimes I'll see someone do something, and I'm like, that was worthy of me purchasing something with their name on it. Like Devonta Smith. That's why I didn't even need to see anything in Eagles uniform. I got the Scherzy. All I'm going to need to see is one catch in the NFL, and I'm going to go, Christmas list. You got me, fam? Drew is my favorite Philly ever, other than Dawkins. I go Dutch. But that's because that's my childhood. That's what I feel like. Darren Dalton got me into sports. But yeah, that's a good one. I that's what I was thinking. I was like, then I go the entire '08 team. Because, like, goddamn, all of them were awesome. Like, Shane Victorino, I always said was my favorite Philly then. But, like, how do I not go Peace? Or how do I not go Chase? Or, like, that whole damn team. That's a side tangent here. That's the one thing that's disappointing to me about the Eagles. I don't feel like I love that roster as much as I love, like, the entire '08 roster. Like, don't get me wrong. Fletcher Cox, Chris Long, like, Nick Foles is a legend, right? But, like, Nick Foles didn't have this, like, long-standing Eagles career. He just had this, like, weird mythical Eagles career where, like, he, like, was like, nah, bah, bah, and then he popped up and had that 27-2, and then it was bah, 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 and then, oh, by the way, I'm going to carry you for, like, 2-3 games throughout the playoffs and this crazy, Super Bowl MVP run. Jason Kelsey, absolutely, Joe, abso-freaking-lutely. Again, there are like handfuls, like a good handful of like players, but like Nelson Aguilar, for instance. Nelson Aguilar had, I think, 9 catches for like 84 yards in the Super Bowl. But when I say Nelson Aguilar, I don't get warm and fuzzies as much as people try to force that. Loved Owens? Well, you see. You know I loved Owens. By the way, chat, have you noticed HK? I got HK on frame. Does he come in pretty good in the new room? I've revamped the war room. There's no more bed in the war room. It's sort of the chill zone here in the house now. So at some point we can have like a whole couch here. And I'll just flip the camera and we'll do like a caster couch. But yeah, it's up and coming in here. Should have paid Owens. Absolutely. T.O. is another one. It's like one of my, he's like, I like T.O. just throughout his career, minus that dark time that we don't talk about. But yeah, like, yeah. Getting back to it, but, like, again, Carson Wentz, we kind of were hoping that, after the Super Bowl run, he would have sort of his own run. And now I hope that, he runs only on the sideline. I don't root for that number 1 pick. I want the Colts to go, I want a high second-round pick. I want everyone that said, Carson's injury prone, Carson's a bum, I want those people to be right at this point because Carson's not here. And once we get rid of Ben, depending on what we get him for, like Carson Wentz got traded, and in my opinion, we didn't get what we should have. So that's why I got more ill will towards Carson and Howie. Depending on what we get for Ben Simmons, I'd like to still think that I can root for him. But I don't know. I get jaded real easy, real quick. We'll see. Carson Wentz causing distractions. Again, at this point, Joe, like, I was wrong, right? So, like, whatever. So I want everyone to be right at this point. More and more and more about Carson Wentz. I don't ever want to see that dude throw another touchdown pass in the NFL. And I mean that I don't want ill will. Like, I want him to have a nice, healthy life, bless his family, all the things. But it's pure sports hate. It's pure sports hate. And then I got to deal with that. I was right about Carson Wentz and Ben Simmons. They're bums. And tonight I just got to take it. What was the line? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Every time you say it, Joe, I'm not gonna defend it tonight. And between you and I, chat, it's easier for me to accept defeat knowing I don't got a little screen in the corner laughing at me. I don't have any of my little co-hosts here. Joe, I know, and I've also labeled you as that Philadelphia sports curmudgeon, if you will, in that same vein. But I guess in these two very big particular instances, the Philadelphia sports curmudgeon. See me, I say you spoke it into existence. Normal people would just say you're right. I'm not normal. I have a disease of some sort. And again, Joe, we're split here. I hope you're right about Carson, and we'll see about Ben. I don't know yet. And I just realized this has been distracting the hell out of me, and I can just see now that it's on the screen. I'm sorry. I don't know what ad I have of Joel Embiid's that has just been blaring on my screen. But yeah, that's been happening. 8:45. All right, so we got about 15 more minutes. You know what I was actually thinking about doing, chat? I just realized my ESPN window's up, and I was like, man, there's so much happened now that I think it would be hard for me to focus on an entire show and then also do this. But here's what I'll say: make sure your Twitch.tv/WarRoomPhilly notifications are turned on, because I want to do. I got my after this show tonight. I got to keep all the lights, and I got to go and I got to pull the draft order for my fantasy football league. And I was like, I didn't do fantasy last year, and the year before that, I didn't do too hot. But the year before that, I did really hot. And the only person that beat me that year was Keith 3 times. One of them being in the playoffs. Where was my invite? It's not the War Room one. It's not the War Room one. And honestly, I was shocked that I killed this league last year due to COVID. And I brought it back from the dead. Like, honestly, Joe, like 2-3 weeks ago. And that's why I'm like, man, I really want to do a War Room Philly one. I really want to do like a War Room Philly one. And like, but it's like, it's just been, like, you see, I'm solo tonight. It's been a real... Keith has been super busy, and now Kevin Christian, our newest addition, he's getting married this weekend. Like, it's on me once again, as always, for poor planning and trying to squish things in last minute. But I was like, I almost would have liked to do a War Room Philly league so I could have done a mock draft, and even so, I could have stream during it. Like, I had all these ideas at work the other day, and I'm like, why do I have to work for 8 hours a day instead of just sitting at home creating content and getting paid for it? Because that's the dream. That's what we all want in life. Hashtag subscribe to War Room Philly. But oh man, it's like, I really wanted to do that for the people, and I'm still, there's a potential that I just go live at some point this weekend. Might not do video or something, might do like a weird, but I might just like do a little fantasy football show, because I'm jonesing to do it with the people. So that's that. I'm really excited to know after the pick after this show what pick I get in the draft. I always root for the same thing. I want to be first or last. Unlike Ricky Bobby. I want to be first or last. Not if you ain't first, you're last. For some reason, this is just... I'm not getting the amount of water I want in my body. Chat. There we go. The little thing's good for hot drinks, not cold. All right, wearing down. What do we miss? Oh my god, I haven't done Eagles season predictions yet. Although, again, lack of preparation. I thought this was the last show before football season starts, but we got next week too, because the Eagles aren't playing Thursday. We can get in this time next week as well, but. That being said, it was a hot post. I'll save Greg's. I'll do mine tonight, and we'll talk a little more about it. Where the hell? I had the Eagles schedule up somewhere. There it is. Joe, you are a family too, by the way. I don't know if I acknowledge that. You are absolutely family. And case in point is I say things like to you sometimes out of like when we disagree sometimes, and then after the show I'll get this like guilt. Like, oh my god, like I gotta stop doing that to people. Where like I say thing and I mean it as a joke, but then I see it and I'm like, it only came out as anger, and I'm an ass. That's how I know you're family, because I only think that way about family. But we got an Eagles schedule to break down. And it was what I would call a disappointing preseason in that we didn't get to see a lot of Jalen Hurts. We saw too much Joe Flacco. And, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we have this whole Gardner Minshew trade that happened, which just goes to show you that Howie Roseman has no idea what he's doing. No idea whatsoever what he's doing. Here's what I think truly happened. I think that Howie Roseman... and to your point, before I go on this rant, Joe, you're right. It would be fun. It wouldn't be fun if we agreed, but I still got to do a better. Like, when you say something, I can't be like, Joe, you're dumb. Like, I'm just lucky that you come back every week and you know I'm joking when I say, but like, I can still disagree better than saying that, right? And I could probably do it in more entertaining ways too. So that's where we look inward. See, unlike Ben Simmons, I can look inward and I try to improve. Unlike a basketball player who goes, nah, I'm good on shooting. I'm good on shooting, chat. He said sometimes it's You're the best, Joe. You truly are one of a kind. So the Eagles schedule. This is something we haven't done, much to Joe's chagrin at one point. We haven't broken down the Eagles schedule yet at this point throughout the season. But we got the fit. We're going to run a little late tonight, chat, because we got 10 minutes. But I also want to run through the Eagles 53-man roster. And oh my god, Jordan Howard isn't on it? Jordan Howard isn't on the 53-man roster? Who could have predicted it? I did! Breaking news. Jordan Howard bleeping sucks at football. And anyone that still thinks he's got anything left in the tank because of what he did in a brief stint 3 years ago, you're funny. You're a funny guy. So 3 quarterbacks. Wrapping around to the point as well. Gardner Minshew trade. Here's what I think. I genuinely believe this. This isn't me trying. I just made fun of hot take artists and this and that. This is what I think happened. I think Howie Roseman traded for Gardner Minshew because he thought, I'm going to need a starting quarterback this year. Because when I make this trade for Deshaun Watson, he's going to get suspended at some point, and I'm going to need someone to fit in for him. Then a trade is made, and then the reports come out. Then we find out that Deshaun Watson won't come to Philadelphia. And then there's all this other crap that comes out after that try to make the Eagles look good, and it's bullshit. So now you're going to be faced with every Sunday the choice: do we dress 3 quarterbacks? We keep 3 active quarterbacks because we don't want to admit that Joe Flacco wasn't worth wasting $3 million on. We can't just look like Gardner Minshew is a total waste of a pickup. And Joe, to your point, I guess I didn't give my opinion. I've said this several times though. I don't want a serial rapist on my team. I don't want a serial sex offender on my team. I especially don't want a serial rapist and or sex offender on my team that might just settle 27 cases in civil court. So yeah, I don't want Watson, but I do believe that Howie Roseman, to try to save his job, would have gone out there and got Deshaun Watson. He has no soul. He's already sold it for the Super Bowl, as we can see now in what we are left with. Anthony, just imagine if Hurts does play well and those first 2 round picks be even sweeter. For the record, I have not once said Jalen Hurts, at least tonight, have not once said Jalen Hurts is going to play poorly. I'm rooting for the dude. I really am. I said it when they picked him, man. I hated the pick, loved the player. But I want to stay. I want to stay just on this Garner Minshew point. One last thing. Yes, it does improve the quarterback room though, but I think it just shows that it's Howie Roseman. He kind of flies by the seat of his pants, man. He's got no clear plan, and that's worrisome at times. It's worrisome. I think it's going to be funny to see. I guess I would imagine that Minshew will probably be deactivated for a couple weeks. But I think you might have Joe Flacco deactivated, making $3+ million, and that's going to be funny to me. I really hope the Eagles don't dress 3 quarterbacks every Sunday, because then you're taking away from a spot that needs rotations. So let's get to it. We know our 3 quarterbacks. We just talked about it. We got 3 running backs because you got 3 quarterbacks. I guess you're only taking 3 running backs, but I like all 3 of them. I think it's enough. Assuming you can use Boston Scott in the right amount of carries, you can keep him healthy. Gainwell is your kind of spell to both backs. Miles Sanders is sort of your bell carrier this year, so I think that's quite all right. Wide receiver core, quite a turn here. The big one we all know that with the wide receiving core, it's JJ Arcega-Whiteside making the team over either Travis Fulgham or, in my opinion, I thought I would have went with Hightower in this. I thought that Hightower, he's at least shown speed. Fulgham, look, to me, the Travis Fulgham thing, he came in, he saw, and then he left. Like, once defenses figured out how to play him, I think that he just disappeared, and I think the Eagles, that's what the Eagles saw, that's what I saw. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is here because he made one good play in preseason, and he's a high draft pick. I hope it pans out. I think it was the wrong move keeping him, just like pretty much all of Philadelphia fans. The only thing fans were kind of divided on, I think, were would you have kept Fulgham? I think more fans wanted Fulgham. I would have kept John Hightower, personally. What else? I'm trying to look like at the sexy picks, if you will. Safeties, I think the big one was they made the cut. Oh crap, I forget his name. the new pickup, but you're going to go with Epps, Anthony Harris, McLeod, and Kayvon Wallace. Well, I'm excited to see this year. I think he's going to have a really big second year. But okay, let's get into it. And again, if you got any roster spots, anything you want, let me pull up Facebook here because I know that was on here. Sorry, I know I made a facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. I know I made a poll. For some reason I can't find it. Here it is. We got 10 comments. Jordan Howard. Yeah, we talked about that. Arthega-Whiteside, another one we thought about. Andre Dillard. It's another one that a lot of people. Here's what I'll say about Andre Dillard. I get that he's been a disappointment as up to this point and potentially going forward. If you can at least get a backup out of him, it's good for now. It's not a good draft pick, and that's not why you draft players in the first round. But if it's a guy that you can at least feel comfortable with if he's got a sub in, health to me has been his biggest hamstring and the thing that's held him back the most to this point. So maybe he work on it and he gets his strength back up and he doesn't totally suck. I'm not as mad at next year. I'll be with the Andre Dillard people. If he's really sucking throughout this year or something, then I'll be like, wow, let's get rid of him. That was, I wouldn't, me sitting in my GM seat, I wouldn't be in a rush to throw away a first round pick yet. For what? A 5th, 6th rounder? It's not worth it. You could probably get the same thing next year or just cut ties altogether and when your ceiling is still a first rounder. So, yeah, that's that. And then I got one here. Howard will be roster week 1. They cut him. His contract isn't guaranteed. Yeah, and anyone else can pick him up right now, and guess what? No one will. Why? Because Jordan Howard sucks at football. I don't get this Jordan Howard love, man. Philadelphia fans are weird sometimes. They pick grudges with the weird players, and they pick love affairs with weird players. This Jordan Howard, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Jordan Howard isn't LeGarrette Blount. I think some people actually think that they might even be the same person. They're not the same person. They're not even the same type of player. For one, LeGarrette Blount knew how to block. Jordan Howard can't even read the blitz, let alone fake getting in the way. He was getting help from Gainwell this year in camp. Jordan Howard's a bad football player. I'd rather go out there and find someone off the scrap heap. I don't know why we fall in love with people like this. I understand the Fulgham love more than Jordan Howard love. Sidney Jones got traded again. That's pretty funny. Again, not my problem. How about Cam? Could have waited. Again, Gardner Minshew could have waited a couple days. Could have got Cam for nothing. I would have taken Cam as my backup. Now I know he's going to get more money. Where do you guys think Cam lands? Just a quick side note. We don't have to spend any time on it. I was saying, I kind of like as a dark horse, as a team no one's talking about, the Saints. I I don't think the Eagles are going to be too much of a competitors this year, so it doesn't necessarily affect the Eagles. Now, Dallas, as Joe said, that would certainly affect the Eagles. I guess you would say Dallas in case, Dak Prescott's health is in question. Houston's a very popular one. I've seen Denver a lot. That makes sense as well, and I think they have the cap room. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Again, I my dark horse is New Orleans. It's one that for some reason, right to my head, and I don't see it around the league a lot. Maybe it's got something to do with Cat. But that's my dark horse. Getting back to the Eagles, I'm gonna do a real quick. I'm not gonna do like the wins and losses thing, or at least I'm not gonna do them in the traditional sense. If anyone has ever seen how I do it, here's how I'll do it, and we can do this. Actually, let's do this. Let's go here. Pull me. Can do this. And we can kind of talk about this together. So when I look at you guys can see my pointer here, right? When I look at a roster, I look at it in stretches. So like, how am I going to start looking at this? I look at this, I guess, since we'll make it 2 games right off the bat. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. When are the Eagles going to get their first win? And I got to say, I'm thinking week 5. I'm hoping week 3. I think they go 0-2. They go into Dallas, maybe wounded and wanting a win. And then you can go week 3. Maybe they get their win. They're not going to beat the Chiefs. The Panthers are a beatable team. They're not gonna beat the Buccaneers. The Raiders are a very beatable team. The Lions are a very beatable team. The Chargers, probably not a beatable team. The Broncos are a beatable team. The Saints are not. Maybe the Saints are. I don't know. We'll see. If they have Cam Newton and he's playing like it's 4 years ago, they're not. I think they win all 3 games in New York this year. So give them 3, or not in New York, but I think they beat the Giants twice. I don't know why, but I think they beat the Giants twice this year. and I think they beat the Jets. So there's 3 wins. I think they'll split with Washington, so there's 4 wins. I don't know that they beat Dallas this year, though. I'm going to hold off on that. I'm not going to make any Dallas talk yet. Let's go 5 wins I'm saying right now, because I'm looking at the Panthers, and I'm seeing a win for them. So let's go 5. I see 6 wins on the schedule. I see one win through weeks 1 through 6, if I'm being real. Maybe 2. Through weeks 7 through 12. I see another 2. Maybe 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the max I got this team. I shouldn't say the max. I see them winning about 7 games. 6, 7 games, realistically. I think Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to try to run too much. I think at some point this season he gets banged up. You're going to see Garner miss you for a couple games, and then then things can get real weird if he comes in and plays hot. But when does that happen? Who knows? But here's what I'll do. I'm gonna go now. We'll do that. Like, that's my realistic prediction. Is I see 6-7 wins. Let's go. Like, I'm gonna try to be as positive as possible. Positive as possible. You would say, all right, Atlanta's beatable. I don't think Garoppolo is hurt yet by week 2, so I still think San Fran is the much better team. 3. Seven. Here, I should be pointing with this. So, like, this row right here, being super positive, I could say 3. I could see 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives you 7 after these 2 bars. 8, 9, 10, 11. Like, that's being super, super positive. Like, again, but I Joe, to credit you, I do see, like, I can see why people would predict 10 looking at logos. I just think when it comes down to the, like, the Raiders, that game isn't at home. If that game was at home, I think it's much more winnable. So the Raiders, like, I see that game being hard. I do think they win against the Lions, but the Broncos, like, if the Broncos make any move for a quarterback, they could be a really solid squad. So, you know, that game's going to be, like, the wild card to the schedule is certainly this middle bar. I'll like, oops. I will say that. Oh, geez, I'm screwing up everything here. The wild card is like 100% that middle bar that we were looking at. Let me fix this. Yeah. Where are we at here? Everything is messed up, chat. Oh my god. What is this? So there it is. This is like, this middle bar is really where it comes down to. And then here we go. We got some predictions right here that you guys can see on screen with us. David Rubio says floor is 3-14. My prediction is 6-11. 6-11, kind of more around where I'm feeling. How do you get 3-14 as your floor loss? All right, so now I gotta go like me on a bad day, looking at loss. It's realistic that could happen, that they go 0-6. 0-7, like this could, I guess in his eyes, like, that's your first win against the either the Lions and or Broncos. But yeah, man, I'm trying to be negative and I can't come up with only 3 wins, Dave. Like, I could see a world where they go 0-8, 0-10, or 0-9, but they're still going to get a win against, like, between the Lions and the Broncos, they're going to get one. They're going to win. They got to win a game, like, 2 wins minimum out of New York between the Giants and Jets. You're going to win 2 of those games. So that makes you at 3 there. And I think you're going to at least win 1 against Washington and or the Cowboys. That's like minimum of 4 wins. 4 or 5 wins. But again, I see someone that said 2-50. Like, I don't know if these are trolls. We got a 2-15, a 4-13. 4-13 is still a lot better than 3-14. 8-9, 8-9, those much more realistic. But hey, man, some people more negativity on that. It's actually refreshing to see negativity on. So it's refreshing to see negativity on the Eagles because I feel like I've been hearing a lot of like Joe with the 10-7. I hope Joe's right. I hope people are predicting the Super Bowl and they're right, because that's all I want is a Super Bowl. I don't want to be right. I want the Eagles to do well. But chat, it's been a fun one. It has been a fun one. I think we got everything in. Again, migrating tonight, so if that felt like an abrupt end, get your final thoughts in now. I just feel like, hot damn, we covered it all in an hour and 12. In an hour and 13 minutes, we covered 4 for 4. We didn't talk a lot of Phillies, but we did talk about how they've been up and down, up and down, up and down, and we'll see next week. That's the thing. The Phillies are hot right now, but we've seen this before. I will be jonesing to talk Phillies baseball if they're even in the same position as they are right now at next week. Like Joe said earlier in the show, show me against the Marlins, and then I'll start the bye. You don't need to show me against the good. You need to show me about the bottom of the barrel. Because the Marlins, you got a bunch of games against the Marlins, and if you can't beat the Marlins, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs, and you're not going to be in the playoffs. Chat, you've been wonderful. Thank you all for tuning in, both live and on demand. Feel free, if you're watching on YouTube on demand, drop some comments. We will answer. But with that, I got no more final thoughts. I got no more thoughts in general. Y'all have been beautiful. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto. I hope for the best for all of you as far as your recovery, with if anyone had any damage to your homes. This was widespread, man. I saw Manayunk underwater, the Vine Street Expressway underwater. My friends in Warrington are dealing with it. This was widespread, so I'm wishing the best of home recoveries to all of those dealing with it. May your electric come on immediately. May your floods recede. And may we get some football next week. I am so excited for that. And now I'm going to pick my fantasy football league's draft order. We're going to pick it out of a hat, as we've done for years and years. So, chat, thank you all for tuning in, both live and on demand. I am Anthony Pinto, and we are out of